Yeah, what it do? What it do? Another car video typing in with y'all on this Friday. But yeah, it's your brother Jay typing back in once again. And what I can't understand for the life of me is how do we allow these immigrants, especially the newly arrived ones, to disrespect us? You know, maybe it's because I come from an area that was more revolutionary, um, had a more revolutionary spirit and energy. For example, coming from Oakland, California, well, we know that that's the birthplace of the Black Panthers. And that energy where the Black Panthers started is still there, it's still in us. So, you know, me coming to this part of the country, the Southern Cal, I can really see that these immigrants feel very emboldened, especially some of the Hispanic groups. They feel very emboldened. It's like they kind of feel entitled now to, and they kind of look at us like we are the recent arrivals, that we are, you know, to be under them and to be disrespected. And how do you know this? You can just see in the way that they interact with you, how they talk to you, even when you're going to places of business in which they are working in, right? And I can give a example of something that happened the other day. I went in to order some food, and I only ordered one item. And for some reason, this one item, like a small piece of food, was taking an inordinate amount of time. Now, there was one brother in there that was working. And I seen this brother because I go to this restaurant quite a few times. I seen this brother before. He's the only brother that's working in there. Everybody else is Hispanic. And this brother, you know, he kind of zesty, but hey, that's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? If you zesty. But so he took my order, you know, and he kept referring to me as, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm like, hey, man, you know, why you keep saying this sir thing? All right, whatever. So I started calling him sir back. But anyway, he took my order, and then I'm sitting there waiting, right? Now, I'm watching because you can see where the cooks are at, and I'm watching back there, and I know my order is just a small food items. So it's gonna be like this big. And I said, I see it in the cooks, they put it up on the, you know, on the counter, like when you go to Denny's, when they're finished with your food, they'll put it up for the waiters and stuff to take it and give it to the individuals. I see this I said that has to be mine, because you know I had been there at about 5 minutes by this time, 5 to 6 minutes, and they put it up on the counter, and he takes it. Now it was another black dude in there, and he was in the corner, but he was eating already. I peeped him out, and he was already eating his food. And so he gets up, the black guy, the only one that took my order, the kind of zesty brother, he like sees the food on the counter, and the other dude just kind of walked by and he just throws it to him. And I said, hold on, man, hold on. That had to be my order. And it's obviously that this might be Maybe this dude's lover or something. It could be his lover, and he just hooking him up. But I said, it is what it is, because, when I've worked in fast food before, and let's say your girl come, you'll hook her up, and whatnot. So, but what the problem was, after he gave that person what I believe was my food item, my order then took another 10 to 15 minutes of me waiting. I'm like, hold on, man. It's late. I'm like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to get upset, because I kind of felt that this dude then gave my food away. Like I said, hey, it is what it is, not a problem. You're gonna hook your people up. But I'm upset because now I'm being made to wait for my stuff because he did that. And so I'm like, hold on, y'all not gonna throw in some extra stuff? Like, out of being customer friendly, you should, or being good to your customers. Okay, if you're gonna do that, at least throw something in for me. And the black dude he seemed like he wasn't trying to. He was like, oh, sir, it's coming. He looking at the computer screen. I'm like, bruh, you didn't gave my food away already. Stop acting like you did it. You didn't. And I guess his Hispanic manager was next to him, and he's like, hold on, bro. I'm like, hold on, bro. He getting an attitude with me for even questioning, hey, where's my food? Now, I ain't trying to blow up the black dude's spot, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, I think dude done gave my food away. I didn't blow up his spot, right? But I'm getting upset because it don't seem like they trying to give me any extra. And now this Hispanic manager is disrespecting me, talking down on me like I'm in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that this is prevalent out here in Southern California in particular. I don't know about other areas. I know where I'm from it's not prevalent. But here, it's like they have a sense of entitlement. And but not towards white folks. Because when white folks ask them something or talk to them, they stay in line. But when it comes to us, they look at us like, the nerve of you niggas to ask us questions. And Dr. Claude Anderson warned about this. He warned about the influx, and the influx, he was talking about this back in the early 90s, 2000s, maybe even before that. But he said that we are going to be replaced by these groups, particularly the Hispanics first. Then he mentioned the Asians too, and how they're going to behave and act towards us, because once they come and replace us, we're going to be the double underclass minority. And they're going to become the first minority, because we were the first minorities, because in the foundation of this country, it was whites, it was us, blacks, and it was the natives who were here already. So we, outside of the native indigenous, we were the original minorities. There was no other groups. There was no other groups. In the beginning of what will become the United States of America, it was just us. And now that these other groups, and particularly the Hispanics, have come in and replaced us as the number one minority, now we become the number two or number three. Now they have become emboldened, especially here in Southern Cal, where our numbers are so low. And it's like, how are we allowing this? How are we allowing this to happen? I've already said how we are allowing this to happen in my previous videos. It's because we are off code. Just think, even though we're small in numbers, but if all the foundational black Americans got on code and stop all this fighting, and particularly here in Southern Cal, all this gangbanging stuff, right? Because I'm from Northern California, I'm from Oakland. That's We don't gangbang out there like that. Like, we got places where we from, you know, from North Oakland, East Oakland, West Oakland, and certain, you know, spots and turfs in these parts of town, but we don't have the Bloods and Crips and the sets like they have out here. And just think, even though we're smaller numbers, but we came together on a code, and we was like, hey, we're going to come together so that for the betterment of us. Yes, we may have our beefs. Yes, we may have our histories of whatever occurred between us. But right now, we got to realize that all these other groups are against us. And as long as we remain fragmented, they're gonna have the advantage of us. But just think. And I've seen this, you've seen this personally. I've been incarcerated before. I got incarcerated before. But in incarceration, what happens when one particular group, race, comes against us is that we all come together and we forget about, oh, you a Blood, you a Crip, you GD, you BD, you Vice Lord, whatever. No, we all black, and we got to come together. We got to put all those differences aside and come together, protect ourselves against this group race, and particularly in the prison system and the jail systems. It's usually these two groups that are always going against the blacks, which is the Hispanics and the whites. But we come together and we put aside all those gang differences for the betterment of us. And that's what we got to do here, because I know it's too late. Dr. Claude Anderson said would be too late. And now we are where we are, and we got to figure out something to do, maybe go into one geographical area and where we're strong out of numbers and try to build there. But we got to do something. We can't just sit back idly and that's it. But yeah, man, I mean, these particularly these immigrants, man, and particularly these Hispanics are now walking around entitled and looking at us like we are the intruders. And we can only blame us and our previous generations, baby boomers, for allowing this to happen. So with that being said, this is Jay. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Holler at y'all later. Peace.